So you're going to a AAS. What did you expect? You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be overstimulated and under-caffeinated. But guess what? So is everyone else at the meeting. It's also true that you're not going to understand everything. But guess what? Neither will everyone else. Everyone is going to be confused by at least some of the things that are being explained at the meeting. You should not expect that every talk is being understood by everyone except for you. It's not going to be the case that you're the only one who's sitting in a room confused. So the AAS is really big and it can be overwhelming. I do have a worksheet. You can think of it as maybe a treasure hunt. And a night art teacher several years ago designed a bingo card even if you want. It can help with giving yourself some structure to work through at the meeting, but you don't have to do those things if you don't want to. You should, however, definitely pay attention to your body. The convention centers are often really, really dry because they're recirculating air, and so it's often really, really dry. Definitely get a water bottle, keep drinking. You definitely need to consciously hydrate when you're at these meetings. You definitely need to remember to stop and eat. You might even specifically seek out protein-based snacks. If you're not allergic to nuts, nuts are a really good way to keep the protein going. It is also totally okay to stop and take a rest if you need to. If you need to go back to your hotel room and take a nap, that's totally okay. At AAS meetings, there are a lot of talks. There are some plenary talks, which means that nothing else is going on except for that talk. And those talks are designed for everyone to attend at once. They're usually longer, and they usually are given by people who are selected specifically for plenary talks. And those talks usually start at the beginning. They don't just launch into the jargon. They usually define terms and are a little bit easier to understand in general. There are also talks that are rapid fire parallel sessions. So every speaker gets only 5 to 12 minutes, I think. And so they don't have time to explain their jargon. And they are really intense. For those rapid fire parallel sessions, it is totally fine and in fact expected that people will go in and out to catch individual talks. If you are not sitting for the entire session, if you're planning on going in and out, try to do that as quietly and politely as possible. In other words, if you're planning on leaving after the second talk, don't sit in the front row wearing flip-flops, right? If you're planning on just leaving after 1 or 2 talks in the session, sit in an escape seat, sit near the back of the room. Don't make it obvious that you're leaving. There are also a lot of posters. They are going to change every day. The posters are now electronic and nominally, technically, they're only, quote, up for an hour, at most an hour and a half. But all the posters are available 24/7 during the meeting and after the meeting. So technically, the posters, you're supposed to have their authors standing next to them during morning coffee session or an evening coffee session. But they're all, available online. You are going to wish that you can get away with this because it is exhausting. If you need to take a time out, if you need to go take a nap, if you need to go take a walk outside, see the sun, it's totally fine. My son would want me to point out that he's now 17 and taller than I am, and he wants to be a marine biologist. So you are here as your role as a human for many different reasons. There are many reasons you might be here. But I want to remind you that the reason you are here now is that you are a scientist now. You've done the research. You are here because you are a scientist. Obviously, your educators are students as well, and you should take advantage of the opportunities that this meeting brings for you in that role. But I want to encourage you to step into your role as an astronomer, as a scientist. You should not excuse yourself from a really good opportunity because for whatever reasons you don't feel like you're a scientist. You are a scientist. You did the work. You are a scientist now. So lean in and take advantage of those opportunities. Remember that not everything you see or hear at this meeting is correct. Because people are not knowingly presenting wrong things. But as you know from your experience in this last year, you are doing things that you believe at the instant you do them are correct, but maybe they're not. So part of your job as a scientist at this meeting is to assess what the other scientists are telling you seems correct. So one of the reasons why people present work at meetings like this is as a test flight for new work. And maybe their new work isn't completely thought out. Maybe one of the reasons they're presenting this work is to ask for help from colleagues. So that is one of the really important reasons why people go to conferences, is to network, to learn from other people. Hey, have you seen this before? Do you know what this means? Do you have a solution? Have you solved this problem? Do you know how to do this better? That's one of the main reasons people go to meetings. And so maybe you have a solution to something that somebody else hasn't thought of yet. So lean in. See if you can learn something like that. See if you can help somebody else. And if you are going to be presenting a poster, either later in the week or next year, you should be thinking about what works in a poster and what doesn't. And if you Google bad poster bingo, you will find many versions of this. Because as you walk through the meeting, you will see many versions of really bad posters. In general, the community, both the muggles, the regular people who are running businesses around the convention center, but also other astronomers are, going to be very, very welcoming. And I just want to encourage you to go ahead and ask questions, because astronomers love talking about their research like regular people would talk about children. If you don't believe me, this is my husband from before I knew him, when he was a young graduate student. And this picture, he was really annoyed when he was in grad school at the pictures that he was getting from his college friends' Christmas cards, where they were all sending pictures of their children. So he took a picture of the instrument he was building and sent it around in his Christmas cards, because for him, his instrument was like his kid. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask questions. And you should not preface it with, I'm just a high school student, or I'm just a high school teacher. Just ask your question. If they pitch their answer too high for you, then maybe you need to say, wait, hold on. I'm not sure what you're saying, because, look, you need to help me understand your jargon, or you need to help me understand because I'm a high school teacher, and you need to slow down because I'm not sure that I understand what you're saying. They may glance at your name tag and ask, oh, wait, are you a high school teacher? Then they'll pitch the answer where you need it to be. But please don't be afraid to ask questions. And especially if there's a youngish person, they're going to be thrilled to explain what they're doing. And, you may have to beg them to stop. But it is true, if you've seen that TV show, The Big Bang Theory, there are some Sheldon Coopers out there. And there's going to be some people who are on some sort of spectrum somewhere, and they're going to be socially inept, kind of arrogant, and may not think you're worth talking to. Walk away. There are some Hollywood Wallowitzes prior to his relationship with Bernadette. There are some pretty skeevy people out there. Again, just walk away. Most of us are closer to Leonard's. We're well-meaning, we're polite, we're social, we're smart, we're happy to share, and we're respectful. But, pay attention to the vibe. Use your common sense. Back off. Walk away if things just don't feel right. And students, you should just travel in pairs. Don't wander off by yourself. In general, this is a professional setting, which means stay away from politics and religion. There was a research article a couple of years ago now that was studying the political leanings of scientists. And all scientists tend to be liberal. But this article asserted that astronomers are among the most liberal of all the sciences. So I don't know how true that is. It may have been, just the people that happened to talk to. But remember that everyone is coming, when they come to the AAS, they're coming back from holidays in which they have had to be excruciatingly polite to extended family. And they may have spent the last several weeks feeling like this in dealing with their family. So people may forget the rules of professional behavior. They may be so relieved to be back among their colleagues that they may forget the rules of professional behavior. And they may just assume that you're like everybody else here. You're in the clubhouse now, buddy. I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of my colleagues if you are not the same as the rest of the astronomers here. I do apologize, but you're in the clubhouse now. So what should you expect? The talks are going to be largely either long and plenary or short and parallel. Some are going to be specifically aimed at undergrads or amateurs, and sometimes other new folks. You should specifically seek those out. There are some press conferences. You can attend those if you want, although you should probably sit in the back, leaving the front to people who actually have press credentials. There are posters, a whole bunch of posters from NITARP, but many, many, many more posters that are not NITARP. They're electronic now, so nominally they're up for 60, 90 minutes, but they are available online all the time. There are booths that are available from industry, from individual satellites and telescopes. There are booths from publishers, especially if you're an educator, you should go seek those out because they may give you free books, and archives like URSA. There are town halls, and you can go to these town halls, and you can learn a lot about astropolitics if you do that. Typically, a January AAS is at least 3,000 people. For more recent years, you often get more than 4,000 people registered. But in past recent years, you get people withdrawing because they're sick with COVID or RSV or norovirus or flu. And given the financial situation with the federal budgets, there may be even fewer people even registered this time. I don't know. During the worst of the pandemic, the AAS meetings were 100% online, and that caused a sea change in how some of these meetings were run. Part of the experience from these online meetings have been continued on into this era. The iPosters are part of that transition. I think it's awful that we've abandoned regular posters, and that's a completely separate rant. It is an advantage that the posters are available on demand anytime, but a side effect of that is that it's hard for NITARP teams in particular to actually talk to a lot of people. And so what the compromise that we've reached, I don't really like, but we have ended up with having a NITARP day on Tuesday at the IPAC booth. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that in the future, but this meeting at least, it's going to be Tuesday at the IPAC booth. We'll have the 2 science posters, not the education posters, but the 2 science posters up all day. Slack is definitely a good thing that has come out of the post-COVID era. Slack basically is like a large message board where you can communicate with groups or individuals. You can ask questions. You can see what other people are doing. You should definitely join Slack. You should get an invitation to join Slack from the AAS, and you should definitely join. Once you join, you can see that there's lots and lots of notifications. So let me just tell you right off the bat that if you hit Shift Escape on your keyboard, it will clear all unread Slack notifications. So how do you figure out what to do? You can try the AAS worksheet or bingo card that I can give you. I can also definitely advocate for collaborating with others. Find a buddy, work together to see what you should go do. You should start by picking out your must-see items. Look at the plenary talks, look at the town halls, look at the seminars that are available in the exhibit hall. Look at the poster sessions. Create an itinerary based on that block schedule that you can get to at the AAS website. You can use the mobile app to assemble a schedule. I've had mixed luck, to be honest with you, with the mobile app. You want to look at the highest level things before diving into the details. If you go to the AAS website, you can go to the block schedule, and it's basically just a big grid that has time on the left-hand side and then different boxes showing you what's happening when. But it is overwhelming. I think we've talked about this. Normally, Varajan would do the next part of this talk, but I think everything that he has here I've already said. But he normally goes through about how to read a science poster. So this is a more traditional, not an iPoster, a regular science poster, a printed out science poster, but don't try to read a science poster. If there's somebody standing next to the poster, ask them for a quick explanation. But if you don't have the author sitting nearby, read the poster first. Read the title first. And based on the topic and the level of jargon, decide if you want to read more. Then read the abstract. If the abstract doesn't grab you, keep going. If you do want to read more, keep reading. Then look at the figures next. If the figures are interesting, It should give you a sense of what the research is about. If it doesn't grab you, keep moving. If it does grab you, read the captions, figure it out. Then with your previous knowledge, based on the figures, look at the summary and conclusions. And then you should have a much better sense of what the research is about. Then you can go in and read the rest of the poster. So that should be enough to get you going. Have fun at the AAS.